Welcome back to another episode of the Jake C. Paulson podcast, where we are talking about the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. This is part 2 of a 3-part series, so go back and watch part 1, you buffoon, if you haven't seen that, because this is the second part. We're going to be covering laws 8 through 14 in this episode. So, stick around. We're going to dive in. Couple little promotions that I got going on. Don't have any promotions, actually. So might as well just dive in. Last week we covered 1 through 7. And I had some examples of some things that I could be doing better in my leadership as well. And so hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Again, this is a 3-part series, so we'll be covering the next 3. Pretty soon. And we got some stuff in store for the podcast. We're growing every week, getting better every single day. So let's just dive right in for sake of your guys' time. Number 8 on the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Number 8, the law of intuition. Leaders evaluate everything with a leadership bias. Great leaders see beyond the obvious and anticipate challenges and opportunities before others do. Leadership intuition comes from experience, observation, and an understanding of people and situations. One example he uses is a seasoned entrepreneur can sense market shifts before data confirms them. You know, Maxwell always says a leader's job is to see more and before. So that means, and I've talked about this on the podcast before a lot of times, that means planning ahead. Planning the next week on a Sunday. Planning 2 weeks ahead. Shoot, even getting crazy, try planning on a Saturday night. Okay, that way you can have the freshest idea of your week in mind. But not just planning, like when I'm planning my week, I'll plan a week ahead, but it's in accordance to what I want to accomplish that month. And that month plan is in accordance to what I want to accomplish that quarter. You know, for me, it's more that year. What do I want to accomplish that year? And accomplishing that year is in accordance to what I want to accomplish that next 5 years. And guess what? That next 5 years is in accordance to what I want to accomplish the next 10 years, which is in accordance to what I want my life to look like 30 years down the line. So that is how you see more and before. The more you start forward thinking, not necessarily predicting the future, but just trying to see things before they happen, the more you will actually start to see those things. The more you're actually going to start to see, hey, you know, we're doing this now, but it looks like the direction of the world is going this way. We should probably switch directions. The more you're going to see those little switches, the more you're going to see, hey, if we keep doing this, this is going to tank our company, or this is going to tank our organization. Whatever it is, I mean, the more you keep getting in the mindset of looking into the future and pre-decision making and actually planning, the more you're going to start to become more wise with your decision making. So, key takeaway, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. Vice versa. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Number 9, the law of magnetism. Who you are is who you attract. You don't attract who you want. You attract who you are. Strong leaders naturally draw in people with similar attitudes, values, and work ethics. One example he uses, he says, if a leader is growth-minded and disciplined, they will attract a team with similar characteristics. This took me a long time to learn because I had to really focus on myself when I was first learning how to build an organization and lead. I spent the first 2 years pretty much just working on myself. Just working on myself. Now I can attribute a lot of, not attribute it, but I can compare it a lot to like sports. If you practice and practice and practice and practice and practice and really work on yourself, then you're going to become the type of person that's clutch. You're going to become the type of person that shows up, and then people are wondering, I've talked to so many, this happens all the time where so many people are buku like successful, or they hit a goal, a really high goal that they set for themselves, and just broke a belief barrier. And nobody really wanted to get advice from them the year before. Nobody wanted to get advice. No one cared to really get advice from them, because what did they accomplish? They haven't accomplished much. 1 year later, they accomplished the thing that blew everyone's mind, and now everybody wants to get advice from them. It's a crazy little thing to think about, but that's how humans are. And so what they did is they developed themselves in the dark, and they've always been that person. Eventually, it just showed up in their results. Finally. And the same concept here. My first 2 years in leadership took me a long time to learn how to effectively lead myself every day. It took me a long time. And I'm not saying a long time of failing and failing and failing. Yeah, there was some failing, but there was also a lot of succeeding. It's those little wins. It was also a lot of little wins that in a time, and I'm like, why can I not, my problem was not necessarily getting super confident, hardworking individuals to come and get interested in the vision that I was building for the company, but I couldn't sustain it. It was like somewhere along the way, they were like, it sounded interesting at first, but now it's not. And in my mind, I'm going, why? I'm doing everything that I can in my power to live out the examples that I'm talking about and to get on the way there. But really, in reality, I just wasn't there yet. And I never knew that. And so it actually took me about 2 years to find confident, hardworking people to buy into the vision that I had for a company that I wanted to build. And it took me a while, but I had to work on myself. And so that's what he's talking about here, the law of magnetism. If you want to attract better people, focus on improving yourself first. You attract who you are. Number 10, the law of connection. Leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. People follow leaders because of the relationship, not the position. Connecting with others on a personal level builds trust and loyalty. Example, a coach who builds relationships with their players will get more effort and dedication from the team. So if you're in a leadership role, again, a lot of these things I've talked about before, but invest in your people, please. Invest in your people. Not just monetary or materialistic things, but invest time with them. Invest your time. Get interested in people. There's a saying, people don't know how much you care, or people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Keep messing up the sayings. But invest your time into people and actually find a way to get interested in them. If you can't find a way to get interested in people and you're in a leadership role, well, either step down or find a way to get interested in people. Because if you're just throwing out orders, you're going to lose your influence with people, and people aren't going to respect you as much. People aren't going to trust you as much because you don't, like we talked in the last episode, you don't walk the walk, you just talk the talk. So connect with people. And again, this is not just a box that you need to check off. It's not just another box to check. It's really an essential skill to have in a leadership role. And I think everyone should learn how to do this. Learn how to talk to people and actually get interested in people. I think everybody should learn that skill. It just makes people feel valued. And shoot, when people listen to me, I talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Maybe too much. But I feel good because people are interested in what I do. And that feels awesome. And I've done this the hard way too. I've definitely burned some bridges in the past. I've definitely put my head first before my heart. And hasn't turned out well. And so I've definitely burned some bridges. So, key takeaway, build relationships before giving instructions. People follow those they trust and respect. Number 11, the law of the inner circle. A leader's potential is determined by those closest to them. A leader's potential is determined by those closest to them. People around you shape your success. Surrounding yourself with high-performing, trustworthy individuals elevates your leadership and your impact. One example, CEOs build advisory boards and executive teams to strengthen their organizations. Okay, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're spending time with people that get up late, stay up late, party a lot, sacrifice long-term goals for short-term pleasures, if those are the types of people that you're surrounding yourself with every day, the majority of your time, you are going to be like those people eventually. Now, if the 5 people you spend the most time with get up early, work out, they sacrifice short-term for long-term goals. They go to bed early. If that's the type of person you surround yourself with, you'll become the 6th person that's doing that as well. You surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you will become the 6th millionaire. Eventually you will, if that's who you surround yourself with. Now, if you have $10,000 in your bank account, your net worth, I would surround yourself with people that's net worth is $100,000, because you will learn how to do that just by surrounding yourself with them. Now, if you surround yourself with people that are $100,000 or $1 million and you're at $100,000, you will learn how to do that. And then vice versa, times it by 10, times it by 10, the 10 million, 100 million, a billion. Okay, I'm not saying everyone's going to be a billionaire. I don't even know how many billionaires there are in the world. It's probably a good statistic that I can look up. But you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take that into consideration. And Chris Williamson talks about this idea too a lot. He was just on an episode that I watched, a podcast, and he was talking about this moment where you're so into developing yourself that you're reading books and you're going to bed early and you're waking up early and all this stuff. You're like so invested in growing yourself and you're just learning a lot. Now, there's a time where you grow out of your old friend group and you're growing into a new friend group. And everybody has that, whether it's middle school or high school. It's always an uncomfortable, kind of like a lonely time that you're going through that because nobody else is going through it besides you and this other friend group. Maybe you take a friend with you. But he not only talks about that, because that happens to all of us, going from high school to college, or again, switching from middle school to whatever it is. But if you keep doing that and you keep growing yourself and you keep the habit up, you will eventually find that the new friend group that you made, and you're like, oh, I left those old friends behind and I just outgrew, my goals are just bigger than what we were doing every day. And I had to do something different. I found a new friend group. You'll find that if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll actually keep growing and you'll grow out of that new friend group. And then you'll find a new one. And then you'll find a new one. And then you'll find a new one. That's why you see these really successful let's just say really rich people, multi-millionaires. Their friends are also multi-millionaires. It's because they escalated themselves so high that now they spend time with people that are doing better than them at the same level. Rarely do they spend the majority of their time with people that are not doing as well as them. So your success depends on the strength of your inner circle. Choose wisely. Number 12, the law of empowerment. Secure leaders give power to others. Weak leaders hold on to the power, fearing they will be replaced. Strong leaders empower others, knowing that leadership is about multiplying impact, not hoarding control. One example he gives: great managers delegate authority and develop their team, creating stronger organizations. John says this in one of his books, or maybe he did it in one of his talks, but he's got a lot of books, so probably in one of his books. He says, insecure leaders lift others. Secure leaders lift others. Insecure leaders hurt others. The idea is that if you're a secure leader, you don't have to worry about anything. You're secure. You're not worried. You're not worried. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're secure. And you can actually pull your head out of your butt and coach this person the best way possible to help them succeed. Because you're secure. You know where you're at. It's like trying to coach someone on finances with a zero net worth. How do you feel? You feel like an absolute fraud. Now, try to coach someone on finances with $1 million net worth. Now, how do you feel? You're going to help them make as much money as frickin' possible, and you're going to feel good about it. Now, if that person that you're coaching starts making more money than 10,000 net worth, then they get to 20,000, you're still at zero. I'm sorry, but most people, their subconscious is going to want to drag that person down. That's what I'm talking about here. Secure leaders lift others up. Insecure leaders bring them down. And it's a scary thing because people that are insecure can have a lot of charisma. They can have a really good way with people. And that's how you get some not so great leaders in the world. So, the person keeping others back is insecure about themselves. It always starts with you. I mean, you should be so growth oriented that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who outgrows you, if this person does, or this person does, or this person does. It should be an absolute win. It should be a win. Yeah, and when you're focused on being over others, like you're focused on managing instead of actually leading, you're actually focused on managing people and going, all right, I'm gonna make sure I'm supposed to be this person's subordinate, so I have to teach them how to do these things. It's like you can actually learn from them, but if that's your mindset, you will unknowingly keep them down because your ego. And this is actually a really big growth area for me today. I know that. And I'm always trying to grow in this area. So key takeaway: true leadership is about lifting others up, not keeping them down. Number 13, the law of the picture. People do what people see. People follow examples more than instructions. Leaders set the tone by demonstrating what they expect from their team. If a leader wants a strong work ethic, this is the example, they must model hard work themselves. If they want a strong work ethic from their people that they lead, they need to work hard themselves. Leading by example. I've come to learn that the people you lead will do half of what you do well and 200% of what you do wrong. Again, they will do half of what you do well and 200% of what you do wrong. All eyes on you. So, again, back to the episode last week. If you're doing a bunch of talking and you're saying, we're going to go here, and we're going to go here, and I need everyone to put in this much work, and we need to stay up late, we need to go to bed early, and we need to stay up late, we need to wake up early, we need to sacrifice time with our families, and everyone's on board, and they're like, all right, we're going to do it. There's a big vision, and we can do this. And then you as the one steering the ship is falling asleep at the helm and taking days off and going on vacations, and this doesn't have to be necessarily like blatant out in the open. Now, even if you're hiding that you're doing that stuff because you're kind of insecure about telling people, again, it's going to bring others down. And you're not necessarily leading by example. Now, the strongest form of leadership is just leading by example. It's just leading by example. First one to take charge, going for it. Now, if you can show that you're going for it, and you can literally show someone that you're leading your schedule and say, hey, here's my schedule. If you just do X, Y, and Z here, we can help you in this area, and you can contribute in a better way to the overall goal. That's great. That's taking ownership. That's a secure leader. Now, like I said, again, if you're trying to hide your schedule, or if you're posting on social media about all these things that you're doing and all this fun stuff that you're having, and you're not actually backing it up with results or backing it up with work and actively trying, well, eventually you're going to lose respect with people. I remember I was in Minnesota once, and we went cliff jumping, and I was so scared to jump off this freaking ridiculously 30-foot cliff, whatever it was, into the water. And then one of my friends just got up and just jumped right off. And I was like, oh, okay. So you could just, okay, that was pretty cool. Got back up, was like super jacked up about it, wanted to go do it again. And I'm still like, I'm not doing it. No way. And then they did it again. And I was like, okay, well now I see like I could probably do it. And then I finally got enough courage to jump off the cliff. And it was awesome. It was amazing, but I wouldn't have done it. At least I don't think. In a different world, I probably would not have done it if that one friend did not do it once and then again. Sometimes it takes that extra little bit with your leadership to go, hey, I'll show you how it's done. Here, let me go first. And then, hey, now it's your turn. Let's see it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, just go ahead and watch me again. This is so fun. I love doing this. I'll even show you that I'll do it again. Go again. And then just maybe that person will follow your lead the second time. It might take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, but be patient. That's what leaders do. They're patient. So start today to develop your influence. Lead by example. Actions speak louder than words. Last one, then we'll wrap this up. Number 14, the law of buy-in. People buy into the leader before the vision. Before people commit to a vision, they must believe in the leader behind it. If they don't trust or respect the leader, they won't buy into the mission. One example, a strong leader can rally people behind a difficult goal, while a weak leader struggles even with a great idea. Learning this every day this year. Learning this one every day. Buy-in's a tough thing to get. Full buy-in is really tough. I get my own head sometimes, thinking that, do these people, do the people actually buy into this stuff? They actually bought into what we want to accomplish in 2025, 2026. Is there actual buy-in there? It's like, wish I could just read people's minds, right? Well, I've come to learn that you have to daily sell yourself that your vision is actually possible. You have to sell yourself day in, day out. You can't miss a day of selling yourself that it's actually possible. Because if you show up to your people and you say, hey guys, I don't even know if we can do that. I have no idea. To be honest, I don't really believe that we can. Or you show up and you say, yeah guys, we can do it. We just got to put our best foot forward. Versus you showing up and going, hey guys, we can do this. Like, I can see us being there. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my part. And I'm going to get us there. All right? I'm just going to need a little bit of help along the way. I'll steer and I'll frickin' row with 2 hands if one of you guys row on each side with just one. I will do it all. You guys just sit on back there and help me guide it. Help me guide it. And every once in a while, when we hit a bump, stabilize it. Like that's how you should be asking. You should be the one believing that. Selling is really just a transference of feeling. It's a transference of emotion. So if you sit there and you sell yourself every single day, day in and day out, and then you back it up and you prove it with work ethic and tenacity, well, guess what? You're going to wake up one day and you're going to actually believe it. And that belief is going to transfer into your team. And that team is going to go help you do it. Because goals should be big enough to where you need others to achieve them. So that is the law of buy-in. And start with working on yourself tomorrow, relentlessly. And then you can make even an okay idea into an absolute banger of a great idea. Key takeaway: earn trust first, then cast the vision. All right, that'll wrap this up. To recap, we talked about the law of intuition, law of magnetism, law of connection, law of the inner circle, law of empowerment, the law of the picture, and law of buy-in. That is it for this part 2 of this 3-part series about the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Catch us next week on Monday to talk about the final 7 laws. And of course, hit that like button, follow to make sure that you guys are staying up to date. Every morning comes out on Mondays. Send this to a friend if you thought it was helpful. If you think that they need some help in their leadership, well, actually, maybe if you don't think they need some help, send it to them if you appreciate them, if you love them and you want them to grow and you feel like they jam with this kind of stuff, or because they know a bunch of people that would benefit from this stuff, okay? It doesn't have to be because you think their leadership's bad or anything. Obviously, my leadership is bad at points, and I'm growing it, trying to every single day. So I need this stuff just as much as you guys. Let's go ahead and build this podcast into something that is going to help more people down the line. So I appreciate you all. Stay tuned. And as always, let's get after it. Peace.